Using magical spells, you can disregard the restrictions that Dwarf Fortress imposes on you whenever you try to embark somewhere too spicy, like the top of a mountain, the bottom of an ocean, or the inside of a goblin fortress. I've known about this miraculous ability for about a year, but I'd never thought of a way to use it for a video until a couple weeks ago when I, inspired by a Chernobyl audiobook, set out to tackle my local necromancer's tower, which has been radiating evil near my dwarven civilization for the past couple hundred years. Originally, I wanted to build a containment unit around the tower, populated with dozens of dwarves, but it quickly became clear that when you embark on top of a tower, you have no choice but to load up all the barrows that are associated with it, and that means lag. And so, after sending out a short-lived exploratory expedition, I rewound time, added a deep embark command to my embark anywhere incantation, and arrived in the caverns deep beneath necromancer territory with a fresh batch of 7 dwarves who I hoped would help me overthrow the tower. On the one hand, that task seemed pretty easy. The tower was home to 13 necromancers, but no zombies, and I had control over the doors. But on the other hand, there was no front door to stop zombies from coming in as reinforcements. Each necromancer was at least accomplished in their chosen fighting skills, and if my dwarves ever died mid-battle, they could be turned against their fellow soldiers. And with no way to welcome in migrants without opening ourselves up to zombie attacks, a single death could potentially derail the mission. And so I put my dwarves to work building a base camp where they could produce steel weapons and armor, and dug up into an abandoned wing of the tower where I could stage my soldiers and have them train, safe behind a locked door. For the next couple years, my dwarves slowly built up the armory, and my plan to take over the tower was progressing nicely. But then things were complicated by a rogue outpost liaison who tried to meet with us in the tower and brought the couple dozen zombies who were chasing him along for the ride. In order to fight all the new zombies in the lobby, in addition to all the necromancers in the tower, I doubled down on training my dwarves. Instead of launching my attack once we had attained a general level of competency, I waited the necessary years until skills began ticking into legendary, and I had 4 hammer lords and 3 mace lords ready to go. A single necromancer coming downstairs while we fought the zombies could be disastrous for us, so I went through the tower and used my total control of the doors and hatches to isolate all the necromancers in rooms where they couldn't impact the fight. With the path cleared, I sent my dwarves into the tower and watched as they cleanly jumped from zombie to zombie, carving their way through the hordes of undead, even while vomiting due to cave adaptation. But once they returned to the tower, their race was on. Zombies from all across the map were shambling their way to us, and if we wanted to retain our hold on the tower, we had to build and lock a front door before they all arrived. The timing nearly worked out perfectly, but the moment my dwarf arrived with door in hand, the first group of zombies peeked around the corner. My dwarves struggled with these ones more than they had with the original group, so despite the smaller numbers, my dwarves came out of the encounter with bigger injuries. But defeating the scouting party gave us a brief moment where we could push the bodies and garbage out of the entrance and finally build the door. Once we were safe from the outside world, we were free to wrap up our business with all the necromancers within the tower, which went smoothly outside of one guy who broke free and raised a handful of zombies as he ran around. With the tower completely under our control, I was able to move on to the secret second phase of my plan, using all the books, scrolls, and slabs containing the secrets of life and death in the tower to turn each of my dwarves into steel-clad, necromantic super soldiers who are theoretically loyal to my empire. So I got my dwarves to build and decorate a library in one of the tower rooms, and watched as they began speed-reading their way through the vast collection. One by one, they stumbled onto the secrets and were made immortal, though one of them did die from his zombie wounds before he could find the right book. Hopefully we will see Muthcat Maw Pulley, Moma's Guilt Dipped, Toulon Body Shot, Amos Copper Trades, Domas Search Paints, and Locum Buckdoor again in future fortresses. I feel like they may just play a part in the story of this world going forward, provided the overlapping tower and fortress sites play nice with the rest of the game. Thanks for watching, an extra thank you to those of you who support me on Patreon, and I'll see you next time.